All right, good morning, all. We're back to our Java AC class where we were asked to create something like this, and then we integrate with database and some functionalities without actually wasting time. Let me run the program, and then we'll look into this is what we have. This is what we've created the other time, and actually you enter CCL number, email address, and then program. Actually, you're supposed not to enter CCL number in the actual design, but that's how we did it the first time, as we're taking it gradually. If you look at the database here. Whenever you enter anything you store, it comes into the database and get persistent storage here. It persistently store here. So there's a mistake done by a user here. I don't know whether it's Muhib, where CCL number was not entered. So we need to validate. What I mean is you have to make it compulsory for all users to enter, to supply all needed parameters, or rather inputs from the what? From the UI. How do we do that? Please, let's quickly go to the functionality portion of our program where it is connected DB and action perform. This is action perform. This is where the functionality for the BTN save is. Right? So before you store, you need to run some checks. Checks for what? You check to make sure that the CCL number has some input. So now you can now say, where is the CCL number? Look at it here. Actually, these local variables, you're supposed not to write them within the try catch. The local variables, these ones, please take them out. You see how we do modify things, right? Formally, we did it that way, but it's not really supposed to be such, because this you collect before you do the risky codes, the risky work here, function. So then you check. This is the first thing you collect, right? Which is CCL number. So what you do is to check whether it has something. Then you now check if you use the control statement to check. Let me confirm that the video works. The video is really right. It's recording. So then I copied this CC. This is a local variable. I copy it here. So I want to check whether it is containing some things or not. Please understand what I'm doing. I want to check whether it contains something or not. Okay. If I say dot equals, for strings you don't say equals, rather you say dot equals. If you like, dot equals ignore case. Dot equals, sorry, you should have let me know that it's not visible. Please always do that. If you are not saying, you let me know that it's not visible. I do forget to magnify sometimes. It's visible now, right? Is it? Is it okay? All right. So please, we want to check whether the CCL number contains something. So you come up with this method that says dot equals what? Ignore case. Dot equals ignore case means you ignoring any case written here, and then you check. This open and close quote means nothing. It's like 0 with regards to number, and this is nothing with regards to what? Strings. So if it equals nothing, then you tell user that you have to supply this. Are we there? How do you do that? You can use a J option pen. Are we there? J option pen. You see, sorry, J option pen. J option pen. The show message. The show message. We want to show message to the user. I've chosen to use only. Let me use the one with 3 parameters. This is 3 parameters, or even 4. 1 2 3 4. Yes, the position of the J option pen. Please let's understand this. That's the first argument. Second argument is your message. Please what? Supply CCL number. Thank you. That's if you want to be very much specific. You can just say please supply input if you don't want to waste time. In here, the title of the J option pen, CCL enrollment error. All right. Next is what? The type of the J option pen. What kind of J option pen are you going to use here? So I want to use J option pen that says what? Is it cancel? Is it clues? Whatever information, warning, error, rather error. It will give you red color, and then something that will captivate somebody's mind to check through what his entries are. Else, if this did not happen, then it should do what? It should, then you copy your try catch into this else block. Are we there? Is it understood? So I don't want to waste time. Let us do for all. So now let's go for else if. Else if, what if it is not CCL number that is having an issue? So else if, you have to specify what, because we said CCL number here specifically. So let's go by email address, right? Thank you, as you are understanding. The decals ignore case if you like, or just equals ignore, since it's testing whether it is. Please pardon me to copy this message and just change from CCL number to what? From CCL number to email ID. Thank you. Please, can you also pardon me to copy this and just make some changes? Instead of email address, we check what? Program. And then you say what? Program. Even though for combo box there are a lot of ways of doing it, but for now, you know, we don't give a lot of things for novice, somebody who just learning. Let us have some areas where we give you the stuff at the beginning, at this beginning stage. So let me run. Now if I try to save, you see what happened? I did not enter what? CCL number. It tells me what? Please what? Enter CCL. So this is what we call validations. You are validating the entries. Alright, okay? You are validating the entries done by who? By the user. So now for the CCL number, I enter CCL slash what? The program. This I'm just writing. We're supposed not to write this. It's the system that does it. That's our topic of today. But for the sake of this running, first thing I'm doing, CCL, let's say Java SE, for example, and then 001, for example. So now email address, if I click on this, it tells me go back and do the writing. It's validating now. So Muhib now, at what? So you see, another thing we need to be checking. Somebody should not enter email address done by another person, but that validation is not client side. This one we did is a client side validation. The validation that I've just said, you should check for a validation with regards to email. First of all, you need to check to make sure that it is an actual email address. Please, this is an assignment for you. Check. You can use regex. I'll supply you with materials, but maybe I'll use server-side validations where we are going to check on the actual, email address we entered. So you don't supply. There should not be duplication. Email address are like your contact. It is a contact, of course. You can't have two email addresses that are same from same domain and whatever, same company. It's not possible. So I think we're going to do that within the video here. So most likely today's video is going to be lengthy as well. So I'm saying muhibbaba.com at yahoo.com. Then for the program, I did not select. If I click, it said it's inserted. Okay, so that's what I told you the other time, please. You see what happens is it it has selected this select program as what, as an input. It has selected as what, it has selected it as an input. So we need to do server-side validations for what? Server-side validation for what? Oh, let's combine the two. Let us check our DB. You know, these validations are key. Otherwise, you'll be collecting data which is not actually up to the standard. Data that is partially done, partially submitted by you. Can you see here? It says what? Select program, which is very, very, very much archaic. It is not done this way. So how do we solve this problem? Please, let's go back to our source code. Whenever you want to solve problem, you don't copy and paste. Look into the problem, understand what it is, come up with a business logic that enables you to solve the problem. So now please come to the program here. This is program. We checked that it is not empty, but what is being entered is not a valid input, is it not? It says select program. It is not valid. So how do we do? That means we have to do two checks here. We have to run two checks. It is either it is not having anything, that is it ignore case this, and oh, let's say oh, it should check this. If you say oh, it will check this or that. So anyone that is being found, it will show you what the problem, this error message. So now let's say oh, this is the O, Victor, I'm sorry, this is what we call O here, logical O. This is O, all right, in Java program. Or what? This doesn't contain something that says what? Because ignore case. It doesn't say come here, come over here. You see select program. That's what you have in the combo box. Please, let's check over here. Can you see the first thing here? We were telling user that you should select program, but the system is trying to use this. So what we do? Please copy this. Tell the system that if it is this, do not accept it as what? As input. Now let's run our program. I'm sorry. I don't want to type sometimes. You see, we haven't done any validation with regards to the what entry of email address. If we run this, it will collect it as well. So we have to check that again. So if I click on this, it tells me what? Why? Because for the first time I checked to make sure that there is input, but the input for the first time, if you check the very first thing here mentioned as an item. This is also an item for the word combo box, but it is meaning, it's not meaningful. It's just an instruction, is it not? So these are ways we do. Please try to understand what we're doing. Okay, then select program, then you select the program. Now when you select program and you click, it stores it into the tuple. So let's go back to the DB and check. When we check from the DB, run your query here. Please, can you see things are now becoming, but this muhibbaba as at yahoo.com, it is suspected that these are two different guys. So we will have to check on that. We can't collect muhibbaba and muhibbaba at the same time. So this is part of server-side validations. I'll do that, I promise. Even if we are not able to do it now or today, we'll have to do it in our next class. But then my main, our main concern is this CCL number. CCL number is supposed not to be supplied by user. It is very much archaic. It is even not practical. Okay, so what do we do? Let's go back to the source code, and run the program here. Please look at it. What we do is to coin the words here. What we wanted for the first time here is to get these. First of all, we capture the CCL, and then we capture. Forget about the year. Forget about you do the year. It's just having a calendar, and then I want you to practice that. But let me go by this. Capture the CCL, and then you capture the what? The program, and then you capture the what? the what, the ID. Please look up here. Look up here. This is not correct because I made it myself. I did not know what, I don't know what the ID is all about. It's supposed to be carrying things like this: 001, 002. Can you see what I'm saying? So now let's start with that first. Please, before you run, let's go back to our please let me do away with these ones we have done. No, can't it close all this at the same time? Alright, so when I run, I need situation whereby when I click on, sorry, so can you see one disadvantage of leaving it resizable? Okay, so please let's make it not resizable. When you say set size, then you now say what? This dot set resizable, set resizable, set resizable. You now say what? False. That's what we do in programming. If you don't want something, you call it and false it. By default, it is resizable. When I click, when I run, then I cannot resize. I can't resize anymore as before. Okay, so now let's look into this, please. A situation where, but when I click on the button, it does all the calculations for the CCL number for me. So the first thing we do here is to check on where is it, yes, action performed. Let's do it from here before entering the try catch and block. So you now introduce something called CCL number as a what? As a local variable. We call it CCL number or my CCL number. CCL number or my CCL. Let me see my CCL because I was having CCL number there. My CCL, that is my generated CCL number, please. My generated CCL. Well, let me just say generated CCL number. Generated CCL number. Okay, are we there? Good. So this is what we have for the first time. This, the fact that you might be using it in some other places, please let's try to make it public, not what? Let's make it global variable, not really a local variable here. Let me define it here like this. So it becomes global variable here, and the color changes to global. Okay, so here what you do, what is the arrangement? First of all, you need CCL. Is it? You have to do a lot of concatenations here. After CCL, immediately without space, you introduce what? Slash. You can do something like this if you want to really understand what you're doing. No space, okay? Then what next? This plus sign means concatenation. Since we are not, if you see plus sign before or after a string, it is not adding 1 plus 1, 2, no. It's concatenating. It's merging up the string, right? So here, and then what again? What do we need in the CCL number? Program, right? Is it not? Program. Yes. Why didn't I include program in a code? See, this is in a code. This is in a code. Why not program also? And after program, immediately I need what? I need a slash. Why didn't I include this in a something? Okay, I have to introduce plus sign, right? Why didn't I do that? This is because this is a variable. So if you put it within a code, it becomes something different. Okay. Then the next is what? The CCL number. That CCL number, you have to allow the system to accept this first. Allow the system to accept it. Save it in a tuple. Then you search it. Search by virtue of one or two properties. Are we there? Then you call and you cut the area you wanted, which is only this, the first thing here, and then you insert. But let's first of all do this. You find out that whenever you run, Okay, now when I run, nothing occurs here, right? Is it not? Yes, nothing occurs. So what we want to do is whenever you run the program, it should set distance there. It should set it on what? On the CCL on the text box there. So that means you now have to do something here. What do you do? Let me set this on txt CCL number, the set text, what? Generated CCL number. But you see this, if you run, this may not really occur because this has to be done somewhere. Yes, it has to be done somewhere. You know, in the previous example I have shown you, when you run for the first time, nothing occurs here. Nothing. You won't see anything. It is after when you have done the entries, then you show it. You understand? But actually, I wanted to change kind of something here. You see, this what do you call, this button only works when this portion of code works only when you click on the button. But if you can do this within the constructor, it will do it for you. So if you want to do that, that means we have to make all these kind of anyway, we shouldn't complicate it. Please allow it. For the first time, when you run this, you won't see anything. I will even mask it so you don't do anything. But at the end of the day, by the time you run you click on this save button, it will create the number, generate it, and then it displays for you. Let's do it that way so we don't waste time. And that's what's supposed to be, because it's after when you click on this save button that the ID will get generated, and they will pull it out from the DB. And so let me mask it so you don't write anything. You can call this and see. So within here you can immediately call it and the set CCL number. We have one word, one keyword called disable. Is it disable? I forgot the keywords. Maybe later we check. What I wanted doing was to make it, to mask it so you don't write anything. Maybe later we'll do that. But then let's do the actual thing from the storage from here. Okay, so what we do is we are going to store this this generated instead of just storing anything entered by user. So I now pick this generated instead of CCL number. I will now pick generated here, please. Are we there? The generated. Then I will run. Here we're not going to enter anything. We'll mask it. I forgot the Java keyword for maxing. So let me now say ashir@gmail.com. Then I select program. But you know, when I click on this, it will mandate me to enter something here, right? So I have to remove for that because I know I'm not going to supply anything. So for CCL number here, we don't need this, and then you remove this else, otherwise you'll be into problems. So let me do that again. Right, ashir@hotmail.com, and then I select program and I click. It tells me inserted, right? Then let's check from the DB. How has it inserted it? It has been. Can you see what we have done? You see the CCL number started becoming practicable. Is it not CCL number, Java SC training? These are just simple concatenations. But now the real thing is this second one. I need to pull out this 007 and merge it with what? And concatenate it here. So how do I do that? I have to run a select query. Yes, I have to run select query, and then I make use of the email address supplied, and then pull out what I wanted. So now, so this is what we have from here down here. I want to see something. Else for the else block stopped there. I want to make sure that end of the else block. Okay, then here I have to do what we call an update. I have to first of all select, and then I update. Not necessarily selecting anything. Yeah, of course I must not select. Look at what I wanted doing here. What I want to do is to update this ID into what? Into this CCL number. To update the ID into the CCL number. That means I want to merge it up. So let's run the query from the MySQL. How do I do that? Now say update. What are you updating? The table. I'm updating the table. Then set. What am I setting? Set CCL number. How? Set it into this. Okay. So set CCL number. Same CCL number. Okay. You set CCL number this, but then plus what? Sorry. Not within quote. This plus what? Plus ID. Thank you. Plus ID. So let's learn whether we are right, whether the query will. But then you have to specify where what? Email ID. Yes, otherwise it will set for all. Where email ID equals what? The selected one you want to select. Let me say for the 7th one, which I should something. Okay. Then you run. It has done it. Then let's check. Okay, it has only picked. Can you see what it has done? It has only picked. It has only made it. What I should have done is set CCL number equals to CCL number. Okay, concat is not sure. Yes, this is not this is MySQL, not Java. Equals to concat. Thank you. Concat. Yes, equals to concat. So concat what and what? Two parameters, right? CCL number. Yes. Somebody is talking here. Muhib Baba, you did nothing. Comma. ID. Thank you. This is the right key. This is the right word. I mean, the right what? Let me do for Muhib. This is the right thing. Okay. And then I run. So let's check. Muhib Baba. Can you see here? But it has done for all Muhib Baba. Please, are we there? Well, please, there's a mistake there. We need what? Slash. But I think there we have already introduced the slash. I don't know whether it has been introduced there. Immediately after SE001, You know, this is 005, right? So we need a slash. Please, let's understand what we're doing. You see, this is what we call business logic. You need to know what you're actually doing. So immediately after this program, followed by what? Slash. Then what? Okay, for Muhib Baba, it doesn't have that slash. So let us now run something. Let's run another. Let's make another entry. For here, we don't enter anything. I told you we need to mask it. So let's say aliu@gmail, for example, .com. Then this guy runs cloud dev. Okay, so let's check from there, from the DB. The DB side, if you click, you see this is the guy, right? Are we there? So I now want to do for this email address, I want to update. You know, the right thing is when you want to make any query, you try it right from your database server. Please, let's check up here. Can you see what we are trying to do? Can you see it? So now this is just from the server side, I mean from the database side of query, direct SQL. So let's take it into our SQL. I don't know whether you understand what I said. That one I did was from what? Huh? It's from the service, from the direct SQL. Now let's now use an embedded SQL. So if you like, you can just run something that only if insertion is done, that the update is done, because you cannot update something that has not been inserted. Okay, so let me quickly introduce something called a counter here. It can be anything. Let me just say int counter. Let me initialize it here. Int counter. This is just a way of what we call flip-flop. Okay, so if try catch, if there is error here, it will stop and this error message will pop up. Okay, so if it runs from here down here, that means there is no error. I don't know whether you are understanding what I'm saying. Okay, so now I want to make something here immediately after the update. Then it should update this. You now say counter equals to counter plus what? 1. If you like counter plus plus, that means you increment plus 1. You increment. That means you increment. You understand? So that if really nothing, if there is no any problem, this will really increment. So then you can then check. You must not even create something outside the block. You can then check after this. You can use one single try catch. If you like, you can introduce another one. Okay, then you check what? You check and see if this is what? Greater than, I initialize it to 0. So once it is being updated here, it becomes 1, 2, whatever number, depends, but ideally it's supposed to be 1. So if it is greater, then you do what? Update. You update what? Update the CCL number. That's the only way you can update after insertion. The scenario is you are checking if insertion is what? Is done. So you now say you do what? Then you update what? CCL number. Then you write query. You're going to do something there. You have to write a string for the query. Let me say query update query, update query. Hey Baba, are you with us? Update query, update query. Then what do we do in the update query? You write this same thing, please. This same. Update this. Only that we have to introduce parameters. Let me copy this and take it there. Then we write it in a way, that one is direct SQL way, and here when we're trying to write something, let me use capital letters for the keyword here. Update. This is the table name. Set. This is the what do you call it? This is the column. Where is the keyword? Email. So please understand something here. Here you don't say where are you. We don't know what you are doing here. You represent it with what? Wildcard, what we call placeholder. Okay. Then you come up with, we already have a prepare statement there that has been initialized from, and I think we can still use that prepare statement since it is over here. We have used it up here. It is over. If you don't want to use it, then you create your own prepare statement here and update. If you don't want to use it, you can say prepare statement, which is local variable. Prepare statement ps, let me say ps1 equals to, okay, con, you need to use send con, prepare statement. Then you supply your query, which is this update query. It's better that I use different prepare statement. Okay. Then we then call ps1.set. We need to supply the parameter for this something here. These are wildcard. The set string. The first parameter here. What are we supplying? The email address, is it not? Email address. So we're done. Then you do execution. You now say prepare statement 1 dot execute. You see this here updating. Please don't say execute query. It is execute update. Dot execute update. Dot execute update. Okay. So dot execute update, we done. Dot execute update, and then we're done with that. We're done. So let's run. We don't write anything here for now. You have to mask it. You must not even display it here. Only that maybe later in the next class we'll have to pull it out for you to see. Somebody contributed here. Let me write Victor at Gmail, if it is possible. .com. So you select maybe medium and you run it, entered correctly, and then you check from your something here. Can you see this ninth one? Can you see you've gotten everything now? Okay, is it? So that's how you do. We have to stop the video here. I will try to upload these 2 videos for you in our YouTube channel, inshallah.